This is the Sharjah International Airport. Welcome to my vlog on a 5-day trip to UAE. Though it is a little old, this is one of my favorite trips. Sharjah is a part of the Federation of 7 Emirates. The others are Abu Dhabi, Ajman, Dubai, Fujairah, Ras Al Khaimah and Al Quwain. We stayed at my uncle's house in Sharjah, took some rest, had a good lunch and started for an evening tour. Passing by many tall skyscrapers towards Dubai, we reached the Palm Jumeirah island. This palm tree-shaped artificial archipelago is created by land reclamation extending to the Persian Gulf. The massive building what you are seeing at the bottom is the Hotel Atlantis. This is the main road inside the island where you may see several posh apartment towers on either sides. At the far end, you may notice the famous Atlantis Hotel. This one, located at the apex of the Palm Jumeirah, was the first resort to be built on the island. Spending some time in the Palm Island, we headed towards the famous Dubai Mall. It's the second largest mall in the world, next to the West Edmonton Mall in Canada in terms of land area. The tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa, is located close to it. Besides the usual retail shops, the mall also houses a lot of other attractions too. This water cascade with diving human sculptures is truly an eye-catcher. The other prominent attractions include the ice rink and the world's largest acrylic panel aquarium. You may also see many posh restaurants here with the most modern service facilities. By then, it was around 5 p.m. and we went to see the famous musical fountain show at the foot of the great Burj Khalifa close to the mall. It was really an impressive ambience and an excellent visual treat. Before returning home, we had a short stop at the Dubai Cultural Museum. The museum is located inside the old Al Fahidi Fort, which is the oldest existing building in Dubai, built in 1787. It presents a lot of insights into the culture and lifestyle of ancient Dubai. It also displays many mannequins representing various traditional practices and businesses existed during those days. Several musical instruments and weapons are also exhibited. This was the last destination of the day and we returned home. The second day, we planned to visit the Sharjah Museum of Islamic Civilization. On the way, we saw the Cultural Palace, which is like our town hall where the concerts and events happen. The long building with a dome on the left is the museum, but before exploring the museum, we spent some time walking in the Corniche Park just opposite to it, where we got a nice view of the famous Al Maghfirah Mosque and the canal. This beautiful building is the Sharjah Court. Since we had many things planned for the day, without any further delay, walked towards the museum. This is the main hall of the museum, which contains 7 other thematic galleries. It primarily covers the Islamic culture with more than 5,000 artifacts from the Islamic world. This is Kiswa, covering used for the Kaaba in Mecca, which is a rare item. You may see the models of great Islamic mosques around the world. Other objects include calligraphy, carvings, ceramic arts, coins, glass, manuscripts, and metalworks displayed over these different galleries. One gallery is devoted to the history of Islamic science, technology, and innovation, displaying early clocks, navigational aids, and weapons. It was noon by then. Had lunch at the museum cafeteria and continued our journey to the next destination, which was the Sharjah Maritime Museum. This is where you can explore Sharjah's interesting marine history and heritage and learn about the customs of Sharjah inhabitants whose lives were strongly influenced by the sea. It showcases traditional fishing methods, sea songs, pearl diving, and trade trips in the UAE, and also presents various aspects of the sea related life that had a great impact on Sharjah's heritage and the development of coastal city for over 6,000 years. The same campus also includes a marine aquarium too, where we can experience the colorful world of the deep sea, with lots of creatures including the beautiful clownfish, delicate seahorses, moray eels, stingrays, and reef sharks. There was a play zone just outside the aquarium. After playing there for some time, we drove to Al Kasbah. It houses the eye of the Emirates' giant wheel, which is one of the prominent landmarks in Sharjah. There was a musical fountain close to the giant wheel. Enjoyed it for some time and then left to the central souk. The central souk displays a majestic flair of Arabian architecture built in 1978 and was the first infrastructure in the Emirates that embodied the idea of a modern shopping center. The two-storied souk contains about 600 shops in two wings and is one of the places worth visiting in Sharjah. With this, we ended our second day. The next day morning, we drove to the Al Nakil Oasis, which is famous for its palm tree garden. It was an outstanding location and got a stunning view of the city of Sharjah on the opposite side of the Khalid Lake. At one end of the Khalid Lake Trail, we can see the Al Noor Mosque, which is one of the famous mosques built in the Ottoman style architecture. Spent some good time enjoying the serene ambience of the lush greenery and the date palm trees situated on the banks of the lake. This is the Al Noor Mosque, which I mentioned earlier. From there, we drove to one of the vegetable and meat markets close by. Also visited the Sharjah Bird and Animal Pet Market, where we can see a variety of animals ranging from falcons, peacocks, parrots, rabbits, and cats to even iguanas, which can be bought. Later, we resumed our journey to the Al Mahata Museum. On the way, we could get a nice view of the central souk that we covered the previous day. We then reached the Al Mahata Fort in central Sharjah that now houses the Aviation Museum. Sharjah was an overnight stop between Baghdad and Jodhpur on the Imperial Airways route from Britain to India. Hence, as per the request, this fort was built by the ruler of Sharjah in 1932 for the safety of the passengers and staff of the Imperial Airways from the attacks of the nomadic desert tribes. After this, we had a short stop at the post office to check the posts for my uncle. In UAE, you need to rent a personal post box to receive the mails. This building is the Sharjah Public Library. The next destination was the famous Khor Fakkan beach located at a distance of 100 kilometers from Sharjah. It is a part of the Emirate of Sharjah facing the Gulf of Oman and geographically surrounded by the Emirate of Fujairah. Entered the highway to Khor Fakkan and observed a sudden shift in the terrain with lots of beautiful rocky mountains on either side of the road. This is a part of the Al Hajar mountain ranges in the eastern Arabian Peninsula. The whole drive took almost 1.5 hours to reach the Khor Fakkan beach. Enjoyed some time in the beach and then returned, ending yet another day in the UAE. Fourth day, we had planned the desert safari. The tour operator picked us from the apartment. It was one of the most exciting days in our trip, with a fun-filled and thrilling experience. On the way, there were a few wandering camels, which was a rare sight for me. The driver took us to a place in the desert, deflated the tires and waited for 2 more SUVs to join the dune bashing with us. The deflated tires enable maximum gliding movement over the dunes. All the SUVs arrived and we started the roller coaster ride along this long, wonderful stretch of golden sand. The driver was so experienced that he continued driving at varying speed over the dunes, up, down and across the spine-chilling slopes of the sand, turning left and right, creating a gliding effect. In between, one of the SUVs tried some stunts with us splashing the sand all over our vehicle, making us blind for a few seconds, where I felt like my heart missed a beat and all of us swayed between fright and excitement every second. It was absolutely a crazy drive which I will never forget in my life. At the end of the dune bashing, we reached the central desert camp. One should never miss this if got a chance to visit Dubai. For some time, we played in the desert outside the camp, climbing up the dunes and sliding on it. It was a nice sight of the blowing wind pushing the sand from the windward face to the slipped face of the dune, causing changes in the dune formation. The evening was so fun-filled that I enjoyed every bit of it. At the camp, there were many authentic Emirati activities organized like shisha smoking, henna painting, camel rides, and traditional Arabic costumes for trying out. The camp was initially empty but slowly became active by late evening. The crowd started visiting the food and activity stalls arranged inside the camp, making the whole ambience look so lively and entertaining. We occupied the seats around the center stage, trying out different dishes, enjoying this cozy evening. This eventful day ended with a delicious barbecue dinner with live performances of belly dancers and tanura dancers entertaining us all along. This was our last day in UAE, and the pending itinerary was to go up the unbelievably high, iconic building, the Burj Khalifa, which is also the tallest man made structure in the world, with a total height of 829 meters. Apart from that, it has got the world's fastest observatory elevator that takes the passengers up at 10 meters per second. The public observatory deck, named at the top, is at 124th floor of the tower at a height of 400 meters. It is the third highest observatory deck in the world and provides a spectacular view of the desert city. The building houses a variety of commercial, residential, and hospitality ventures. There is also a nice souvenir shop on the observatory deck. After spending some time in the observatory deck of this great engineering accomplishment, we took the elevator back. From there, we got into the metro to visit my uncle, ending our unforgettable Arabian days. Thank you for traveling with me. Please also watch my other travel vlogs. The links are given in the description below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Also, please click the notification bell to get more videos.